Hiya, and welcome back to Heroes Advent, the game that teaches us that... We're gonna die, probably. I don't... That caught me off guard. That... You're being dead ass. Alec... I'm gonna explain real quick. I don't... Yeah, I'll explain later. Let's just hop right in. For that, you are more than happy, and you were certain the dragon also shared the sentiment. Dino cock. Wait, what? When you opened your eyes, you found yourself in the void once more, suspended in nothingness, deprived of all senses. You brace yourself for another vision to take hold of you. Yeah. But nothing happens. You waited a little longer until something finally came into being. Corruption, entropy, death, nothing matters in the end. Gotta love the void. No, you can't have my name. The sun was already out by the time you woke up, pouring in through the tent's windows. Your body felt sore with a budding blush bursting forth from your cheeks. After the night you had with Ray, it wasn't a surprise that you slept in for a change. Make sure we're good. Yep, we're Gucci. You turned around to find Ray's bedroll missing, leaving only the empty space where he was behind. You must have taken it back with him when he changed for night watch. You laid back down, breathing in deeply what remained of his scent. A playful admonishment came to mind if Carl saw you now, being lovesick for a dragon who wasn't even that far away. He's just outside, what am I getting lonely for? You muttered to yourself, shaking yourself from your lovesick stupor. I need to get up. I can't let Ray do all the work. Getting up, your foot nudges a small bucket filled with water, a washcloth draped over the side. That dragon! Dipping the cloth in the water, you sat at the edge of the tent, giving yourself the cowboy special, wiping down only the important parts in lieu of a full-body wash. Feeling the water wash through your fur as you cleaned out the gunk while listening to the sounds of nature, it was a relaxing change of pace. Yeah, I did kind of notice. Granted, a warm shower would have been an improvement, especially with Ray helping you wash, but the tranquility put you at ease. Sure, every day could be like this, not having to worry so much. Caught your reflection in the water, seeing the now familiar canine face. Pass a reminder of who gave you that shape and why you're at the Akai. He unsettled the calm in your mind as you finished washing up. Putting your clothes back on, you dumped out the water into the grass to bring it with you on your way to the fire pit. Stepping out of the tent, you found Cody already there tending to his trusty cooking pot. Oh, morning, Dave. Hey. Sat at the log across from Cody, placing the bucket at your feet. Yeah, been a while since he last took care of someone other than his brother. Huh. Took you a moment to catch on to what Cody meant. Oh, that's so, huh? Mm-hmm. Right. Speaking of which, where is everybody? Oh, Mike's still catching up on some sleep, I think. Alex has been up for a while now, but he has some tests to do to keep an eye on for now, so he said. And Ray's still in watch duty, I assume? Yep. You looked around as the bear fell silent, returning his attention to the simmering pot. Seeing that the dragon won't be back for a while, you excused yourself and went for a walk along the clearing. You spent a good while wandering around, making sure not to stray too far from the perimeter. Strangely enough, you didn't run into Ray even once. Sometimes you would hear vegetation crunching, but as soon as you looked over, there wasn't anyone here. There. You had a feeling that the dragon was just messing with you, or maybe he was this serious about patrolling the area. After a while, you decided to go back. Upon your return to the fire pit, you found the bear in raucous company with Alex, and surprisingly Ray as well, already seated on the nearby logs. Ray, what are you doing here? I was out looking for you!
You didn't have to do that for me. Just did an extra lap before I came back. I was hoping to find a few extra aromatic herbs for breakfast.
They always do taste best when fresh. Cody seemed immensely pleased with Ray's efforts, wafting the scent of the stew from yesterday's leftovers. What was the occasion?
Well, I was feeling really motivated this morning.
Guess you must have had a restful night like I did. You leaned in, prompting Ray to wrap his arm around you, pulling you closer still.
Yeah, it was the best night I've had in a while.
Lynx mimed retching behind the log at your displays of affection with the dragon.
I wonder if I could make this coffee sweet enough to put me into a coma.
He contemplated the container of sugar and his own half-finished cup of coffee. Cody reached over to the lynx, gingerly prying it from his claws. Leave some for everyone else, Alex.
Hey, I still need that. I'm only on my first cup of coffee.
You and Ray snickered at the bickering between the two, basking in the calm of their camaraderie like the night before. Is there anything we can do to help you with, Cody? The bear shook his head, seemingly pleased with himself. Everything is all set. Just need to wait for Max and we'll be able to have breakfast. All right, then. You burrowed yourself into Ray's side, earning an awkward smile from Cody and an indignant huff from Alex. With everyone settled down, Alex brought up the readings for everyone to see.
So, from our analysis, the Akai maintains a constant mage frequency that projects the ether shield around the forest. These are consistent with the frequencies used in the original blueprints.
He brought up a copy of schematics that you could loosely identify as a guardian crystal. All the notes attached to it makes no sense to you, however.
A stabilized frequency that repels anything that cannot harmonize with it, by causing a significant amount of dissonance.
That's why it can repel nether beasts that are lousy with corruption.
But not the netherite dust that are independently too small to get caught in the net.
That's one way of putting it. Could be that nether has some particular behaviors that don't repel them in microscopic amounts, but we can't theorize that now. However, there was something I noticed the longer we logged the readings. While the overall resonance isn't the same as the GC, the way the fluctuations work isn't the same at all.
Yeah, probably. Alex pulled up 2 additional charts, one the ones you had taken at the camp, and another side by side.
These are our readings, and these are logs from the lab monitoring the GC.
They're identical as far as I can tell.
Looks like it, but something doesn't feel right about it.
Correct. It's because the fluctuations aren't uniform.
The graph shifted, displaying several more lines, each with a different color.
Each one of the nodes returns its own mage signature, with the main white line representing the strongest mage signature. All living things have mage, and our strongest mage is our elemental resonance.
Right, the basics of elemental control.
Yes, and look at all the GC's wavelengths compared to the Akai's.
The frequencies seem to dip sometimes, unlike the GCs.
Right, wavelengths fluctuating a lot too.
Indeed, the elemental nodes detected unusual amounts in unusual dips in resonance, while the median frequency somehow maintained stability.
What does that mean for the JC?
It feels almost asinine to say, but the tree is a living thing.
Yeah, generally plants are a living thing, even if this one has crystals growing out of it.
One would think it obvious, but there was one other anomaly that I hadn't expected to see.
Another one? Does it explain the first one?
Right you are, Ray. It explains it, and has been the final puzzle piece.
Closing the diagrams, he brought up 2 others. This time a graph with wildly fluctuating smaller graphs in between, and a series of values assigned to acronyms you hadn't learned yet.
These are readings taken from the nether slug that invaded during the festival.
Linus?
One and the same.
Amethyst, they're talking about your tealer.
They have their own mage signatures like any other element, and have similar effects to other elements on the body, save for its parasitic nature. And that is the last piece of the puzzle. The reason the Guardian Crystal has faltered is due to its synthetic nature.
Because it's man-made?
Yes. The reason the Akai has stood strong is due to it being a living being.
Alex brought up the Akai's readings once more, overlain with another graph. To one side was an anatomical biometric.
In small amounts, the body can reject nether infection. You'll feel sick for a time, but eventually restore your mage's stability naturally. When infected with enough corruption to destabilize your mage is when nether takes hold. turning your resonance against you. However, the GC self-stabilizes the netherite volume in your body down to the safe threshold. So the fluctuations in the elemental resonance was the tree fighting off the nether corruption. The patterns in the elemental resonance are consistent with those of nether corruption, and the examination of nether purification we've talked about it before.
Wait, someone tried to poison the Akai?
A serpent! Wait, the serpent that attacked us that day?
Yes, whoever poisoned the GC likely attempted to poison the Akai as well.
And what of the beast?
Possibly brought in like the slug and fed off the nether dust and local wildlife. I can't say for sure, but that's my theory up until now. No, it is because the Akai can purge itself of the corruption that its field would remain stable. No doubt about that.
So the GC was corroded over time, like you said before.
Yes. From what was reported to the lab through Lady Spring, the GC was weakened due to the corrosive essence of the nether dust. And with only a uniform pattern to repel nether external corruption, it had no way to expulse the nether it had collected, leading it to reach the destabilization ratio I just mentioned.
Then if that's the case, what can we do to restore harmony to the city? The Malamute grew anxious, seeming almost ready to shake the answers out of Alex if need be.
Well, that's where our potential solution comes in. It's why I wanted to wait until everyone was here to discuss that, especially you, Ray.
What does it have to do with me?
Despite his words, he wraps his arms defensively around you.
Because...
Alex looked to you, guiding the others to follow suit.
Dave, we'll need you to...
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ugh!
Alex! Ugh!
Everyone doubled over in pain, leaving you standing alone as the campfire began to crackle violently.
Alex, Max, Ray, Cody, what's going on?
I don't know. I felt a great disturbance in the force. Was that a sonic boom?
I felt it too. Was it because we messed with the Akai?
I don't think so. That didn't feel like it came from the Akai. It felt like it was coming from... the city.
Everyone, look! You turned to where Cody was pointing. Off in the distance, a billow of smoke rose from the city skyline. With the protective barrier of the GC gone, the crystal itself was in steady decline. The crystal!
It's falling!
Alright, team, grab what you need and prepare to head out.
What's going on? What at the camp?
There's no time. Grab your sword and head towards the bridge. I can't believe this is happening.
I can't either, but we need to leave post-haste. I'll gather the last of the records we have. You take care of the fire.
Right, Dave, you should grab your equipment from your tent. I'm on it! With only a handful of supplies from the camp, you, Max, Alex, and Cody make your way back down the hill to the checkpoint as quickly as you can. Your tents, campsite, Alex's equipment, and even the supply cart left behind in the rush. No one said a word, but you could guess that they each had something on their mind, as your concerns turned to Elisa at the base of the crystal. A sickening, sinking feeling filled your guts as further destruction echoed across the distance. Breaking free from the tree line, you can see the checkpoint at the foot of the hill. The guards were already scrambling around the perimeter, the vibrant red of Ray's scales standing out as he stands by the carriage. Ray, status! Max barked at the dragon as he vaulted into the driver's seat, taking the reins of the hooves.
I've briefed the guards about the situation, asked them to clean up our Kai camp and be on the lookout.
Were they aware of the explosion?
Yep, hard to miss. They've asked us to head down to the guild for further instructions.
One of the guards passed close enough to the carriage to be singled out. You there! What's happened to the comms?
We have no idea, sir. The communication grid all went silent when we realized the Guardian Crystal was falling.
Damn it all! Everyone get in! You try to make your way over to Max, only for him to gesture towards the carriage. We can't risk any of you falling off. Get inside. I'll give it everything we've got.
Don't worry, Dave. It'll be a bumpy ride, but I'll keep you safe.
He clambered inside, inviting you in with him. There weren't any seatbelts in this thing, so he held you tightly to his side. As soon as the door secured, you heard the shriek of the wolves as Max whips them into a frenzied gallop. Though the road to the forest was placid, the return trip was stressful. Max harried whips and the wolves' cries mixed with the worried glances of everyone inside the cabin. Despite the relative calm of the countryside zooming by, your head was in turmoil. The carriage jostles and tilts as Max hits every curve sharply or cuts straight off the road.
Yikes! Max, remember that the hovers only work while on the road. Slow down or you'll have us all killed!
The Malamute didn't seem to hear, or just chose not to as he maintained the momentum. What was originally a half-day's trek was cut shorter as the wolves were pushed to their limit. Even at the speed you were going, it took you at least an hour or two to return to the city. Your heart was beating in your head the entire time. Holding onto her ray as a look of dread dragged their mouths into troubled scowls. When the city finally came into view, you heard a cry from the outside, though it zoomed by as quick as the scenery.
Max!
Sir Maxwell! Sir Maxwell! Halt, by order of Guildmaster Alaric. Despite their cries, Max did not stop the carriage. The secure box now a potential death trap careening into the city. The armored guard moved into position, flanking the carriage as you followed your advance. When you arrived at the eastern gate, you were greeted with the city in disarray. Signs of vandalism and destruction visibly evident on the buildings around the entrance. Down the straightaway path, you can see Vitram Park in the distance. Max made a sharp turn down the street as you spotted purple blurs speeding past a few blocks further down. No!
It's like they said, the outskirt is already overrun.
This is really happening.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable! Wretched beasts in my city!
Yeah, I hear you, Max. We should report back to Father at the guild. Probably not the best idea to engage right now.
Damn it, Lady Elisa!
Turning the carriage back onto the back roads, your group made haste back to the guild. Along the way, you listened to the murmurs of the others as the streets lined up with broken glass, stone, and wood. Whatever passed by here did so without regard for what was here. The outskirts were not their target. As soon as the carriage rolled into the guild, the scale of the damage over the course of hours laid bare before you. Max hopped off the driver's seat to open the door for you before dashing into the crowd. Four of you clambered out, following as best you can behind Max, navigating through the cluttered field, where tents, tables, tarps, and blankets were scattered all about. Field infirmaries tending to the wounded. The medics appeared to be civilians, judging by the clothes they wore. Elsewhere, adults tended to crying children, assisted in gathering the displaced, or generally looking for some way to help. The rest were crowded around the entrance of the guild, where Master Alaric stood upon a platform, so his voice could project outward.
People, please. We are doing what we can to reunite you with your loved ones and evacuate you to safety.
You're gonna need to figure out my Morgan Freeman voice. Morgan Freeman. Wait, no. I'm just gonna keep doing that voice.
People, please. We are doing what we can to reunite you with your loved ones and evacuate you to safety. Do not leave the perimeter of the guild until the caravan is ready. Master Alaric. Maker's Breath Maxwell, I've only just sent for your team. We departed from the Ikai as soon as we heard the explosion, sir! Sure the Guardian Crystal's followers heard that far out? What of the Ikai? Did you manage to get results?
We have, Master Alaric. I brought all the data required to repair the GC.
Well done, lad, but I'm afraid it has come to naught.
What do you mean?
The saboteur has attacked us from within. The laboratory has been ransacked and set ablaze.
The towers are under fire?
So that's why the guards can't communicate with the guild.
Indeed. We could not communicate to the outpost to warn you, nor contact our field agents in this vital moment.
What are we to do? The lab, my inventions!
I apologize for having to ask you of this, but I require you all to help in the evacuation efforts.
Max marched forward, saluting diligently toward Alaric.
Maxwell Silvermane, at your command, sir! Maxwell, head out into the city and help with the evacuation efforts. Any injured or trapped, make sure they are brought back to safely, and we'll tend to them. Yes, sir! Alexander.
Yes, sir.
I understand this may already be in your intent, but you are to head down to the labs and salvage whatever weapons and technology we may require once we evacuate. Should Crystal Coast fall, the Akai may well be the last bastion on this entire continent we can seek refuge at. Even so, we cannot give up our resistance here.
Yes, Uncle.
Cody. With the high influx of refugees, we need you to help keep them fed.
Yes, an army marches on a stomach, sir.
Well shed. With that, you need to hurry. Your remaining assistant is struggling in there on his own.
Remaining one of them's gone missing?
I believe so. The tavern reported one personnel MIA earlier this morning.
Do you know who it was?
That, I'm afraid, we do not know. Our scouts still haven't spotted him in their reconnaissance. We're gonna spare more manpower to investigate missing persons.
I understand. I'll head into the kitchen to help with the provisions.
Good man.
Where would they go at a time like this?
I just hope he's okay. Indeed. Andre. One moment. Where's Raymond?
Looking around, you realize the dragon was not there anymore. Apparently having slipped away during Alaric's address.
Right? Where did he go? He was right here.
Max turned his head about, wafting the scent lingering in the air, eyes widening as he seemed to find what he was looking for.
He only left just now. His scent is still strong. Where did he go? What possessed him to leave without dismissal? Max will find Raymond and inform of his orders.
What were you going to ask of him?
We've been attempting to breach the perimeter of the Crystal Park. So far, we haven't been able to penetrate into the inner sanctum where Lady Springs is. I need Raymond to lead our scouting party to find a weak point in their ranks.
I'll let him know, sir.
Very well. You all got your orders. Carry them out. Dismissed.
Barely taking a moment to pause, Alaric turned away from you to address another group of mercenaries in need of instructions.
You're the man. We have our orders. Let's move out.
With a collective nod, Cody and Alex headed toward the main building, leaving you and Max outside in the crowded field. Alaric's voice was still booming from the other side of the platform, barely standing out above them with disquieting despair that filled the air. The pained groans and desperate cries filled any potential silence to process the tumultuous situation you'd collectively been caught in. It suddenly made you feel small, as small as the pebbles underfoot. All the citizenry compacted into the small field, you felt like a grain of sand just waiting to pass through the hourglass. Passing without notice alongside the many other lives forever altered around you. The very thought weighed heavily on your shoulders, like Atlas holding up the sky from crashing down upon the land. Clenching your fists, you squared your shoulders. You knew all along this was what was expected of you. It was time to own up to it. You shook your head free of the imagery, pulling yourself together just enough to find your voice. Let's get going then, Max! We need to catch up to Ray. Took the first confident steps down the paved path back to where it meets the main road. You didn't get very far when you noticed Max wasn't following. In fact, he hadn't moved from the spot since Alaric had given your orders. Max? I'm gonna check something. Okay. He didn't respond nor react. In fact, he didn't seem to be there at all. First, you surmised that he might just be upset at Ray's insubordination, mulling over what to do with the dragon while tempering his own anger. But the far-off glassy look in his eyes told you otherwise. An almost soulless gaze that stared past you. He reached out for his hand, finding it cold and clammy to the touch. Was he going through crisis too? Max? 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 Shook his hand lightly, a little panic setting in from the unnatural temperature. Was this something Isotune could go through? What could we do to bring him back to his senses? Shout loudly, shake him, or hit him? Just gonna fucking falcon punch him. Falcon! Punch! Just bitch slap him. You're gonna punch him. Max! Hey! Max! Continued shouting at him, pounding on his chest with your fists. To very little effect. Most likely because you weren't getting through the plated and padded armor he was wearing. Damn it, maybe something sturdier would work. Tried to find something heavier to hit him with, but everything seemed too likely to hurt him, including your sword. All that was left was yourself. Heaving aside, you took a few steps back, winding up a tackle as you crashed hard into his chest. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but it's so fucking funny. Like, you got big eyes. Heaving aside, you took a few steps back, winding up a tackle as you crashed hard into his chest, and then tiny eyes. Tears a bit off his chest, wrapping his arms around, keeping close to his chest. Felt his nose touch the top of your head as he seemingly came back to his senses. Whoa, Dave, that was a pretty solid tackle. The Malamute laughs as if you were playing a game this whole time. Smile quickly fades when he sees your worried frown staring right back up at him. What's the matter? I should be asking you that. What happened? We were supposed to leave, but you were just kind of standing there. I just had a lot on my mind, Dave. Yeah, I felt it too. Caught a quick sneer in your direction, an almost dismissive look of disbelief. Shall we get going then? Of course. You lead, I'll follow. Alright, stay close, Dave. Walking away from the lively atmosphere of the refugee encampment gave way to the deathly silence of the barren streets. The further you departed from the guild grounds, the quieter things seemed to get. The unsettling murmurs of battles and agonized cries in the distance. Whether it came from nether beasts or mercenaries, you couldn't be sure. Just that blood was still being spilled somewhere in these once civil streets. The only thing preventing you from pushing it out of your mind was a lingering stench of blood in the air, and the shimmer of it across the stones. This is really happening. Everything's falling apart right before our eyes. Hey, Dave, pay attention to your surroundings. Huh? I am. The Malamute nudged your back to keep pace with him. Can't afford to get separated again. Again? Raymond. There's power in numbers, so stay alert. Right. How are you so unaffected by all this, Max? The canine stopped to give you a fixed look, almost making you regret bringing up the subject.
I am affected, Dave, but I can't afford to let my feelings get in the way of work.
I don't think I could do the same if my hometown were this devastated. Hang on. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I don't think I could do the same if my hometown were this devastated.
You should try to push those feelings down if you ever do, Dave. There will always be time to mourn when we're safe. On the battlefield, we need to...
The Malamute thought better of what he was about to state, instead focusing back on following Ray's scent.
Ugh, this stench of corruption and blood. It's muddying Rye's scent.
Do you still have it?
Yes, but it's getting faint.
If things keep up like this, we might have to focus our attention on the townsfolk instead. Is there no other way to regain the scent?
Not like this.
Unless you stop somewhere long enough for it to stand out. Stop for a moment, hand over your pocket, feeling the weight of the communicator. How good is your hearing? Max perked up, giving you his undivided attention for a moment.
Not as great as my scent tracking, but still decent. Why do you ask?
You pulled out the communicator, holding it up for Max to see. What if we called him? Would you be able to hear his communicator ring? Max tilted his head, still unsure of what you were getting at.
The communicator's notifier sound isn't that loud.
It's still worth a shot, isn't it? He decided to open up the communication channel, switching it towards Ray's frequency preset. Two of you perked your ears up, attempting to catch any distinguishing sounds amidst the static. Most of the distant noises were still too distracting for you, but the look of bewilderment on Max's face told you that he'd heard something. Did you hear? He held his hand over your muzzle as he continued to listen, pointing toward one side of the road.
I think I heard something down this way. Keep calling him. Don't let the sound go out.
You nodded, keeping the communicator close to your ear as you kept pace with Max, the two of you soon racing down whatever available path you could find. Every time the communicator fell silent, you'd call again, putting you both back on track.
Think I can pick up on his scent again. He's not far from here.
Max took a sharp left turn at the end of the alleyway. You pivot to follow, just in time to see the white ball of fur running toward the red-scaled man in the distance.
Rye!
The dragon froze in his tracks, turning to face both of you. You were too far to tell, but it almost looked like he was upset you were there. Ray! Finally caught up to Max, looking up at the dragon perched atop a pile of debris, already turning away to keep running. Ray, wait, where are you going? Turned his body in your direction, his head facing elsewhere.
Rye, you have to come with us. Master Lurk has given us our orders.
Dragon's snout pulled back in an angered snarl. You could almost swear his mouth was glowing.
I am not going back. We can't keep running off on our own like this.
But I need to.
Master Lurk has a task only you can do.
That has to wait until
We need you to come back with us to find a way into the epicenter of the crystal.
Max.
With your speed, we could... Max! Shut up and listen, will you?
You both winced. You hadn't heard Ray raise his voice this harshly since the last argument between him and Max. Tristan is out there, somewhere, without his big brother. You saw how much everything's gone to shit. He might not make it without me.
Tristan? You wasn't already at the guild?
I didn't see him. I have to see if he's still at home.
Then we'll go with you. We'll be safer in numbers.
No! No, you don't have to, Max. Ray, what's gone into you? What do you mean you don't want our help? The dragon looked over his shoulder, down the blocked-off path beyond the collapsed building. He seemed to try coming up with a reason, though only succeeded at stammering and faltering over and over. Max, on the other hand, waited patiently, crossing his arms expectantly for the dragon to finally give his reason. Even though he'd effectively just gone AWOL a moment ago, Ray's never given you a reason to not trust him before. Ray, listen. We just want to help. What's making you act like this? He seemed to have calmed down, just enough to ruminate over what he wanted to say. I can't say. But why not? I just can't. If I said it, you wouldn't agree to help me.
Rye, be reasonable. We want to help you, but you need to tell us what's going on.
Max, I can't. Not now. Especially when I know you won't like what I'm going to say.
What do you mean by that?
We're in over our heads, man. This is too much for you, for me, for any of us. I just can't keep losing things like this. You already lost your brother. I don't want the same for me.
Right, don't!
Max leapt onto the crumbled debris, trying to catch Ray. Though the dragon didn't stand for it, taking a deep breath, he expelled a gout of flame, setting the rubble ablaze in a large pyre. It caught Max off guard, jumping back to the ground with a deft landing. You both watched helplessly as the dragon disappeared over the hill, beyond your reach.
Right, why?
Sure, yeah, we're on the right route. You stared up to where Ray once stood, through the flickering orange flames. The lick of flames burned hot as you reached out towards it. It had harnessed that immense heat into your palms, placing it over your chest. Within your mind, you went over Ray's words. The intensity of his desire to get away, he began to focus on his fleeting image. The pain in your heart to see him leave, his refusal to speak to you, the trepidation in his eyes. That moment, the flame seemed to reach out to you as you found yourself attuned to his element, almost as if recognizing you. Extending your hand outward, you attempted
It's time to drink water.
They parted, like the tail of
It's
the Red
time to
Sea.
drink water.
Still burning harshly as it cleared
It's
the
time to
path,
drink
just
water.
thin enough to traverse.
It's time to drink water.
Huh? Is this something the null element can do too? You opened your eyes to look towards Max. You mean fire users can't do something like this? I guess I never thought of it. Pyromancy is usually a more offensive magic. Shook his head aggressively, regaining his faculties. Never mind that, we can get through the flames now. Let's follow him. Max stepped forth, waiting for you to continue clearing a path for you both, but the image of Ray's pained expression still lingered in your chest, coursing through your body along with your mage. Max, I think it would be better if I handled Ray.
What? But we shouldn't split up.
I can take care of myself, Max. You have your orders from Master Alaric.
But,
Max, I need to save Ray. I can't just let him leave like this. The Malamute face twisted into one of apprehension, as if further twisting the dagger in his heart with every second passed. He seemed to have caught on that the longer he ruminated, the more lives were at stake.
alright, you bring back Raymond and Tristan safe to us, Dave. I'm counting on you.
He gave Max a smile, accompanied by a thumbs up as you pushed your way through the walls of fire. Slightly nervous as you could feel it encircle you, just barely away from your fur.
May the Maker watch over you.
You managed to hear Max mutter before his footsteps faded into the distance, obscured by the crackling flames. I'll bring our friend back home, Max, I promise. Scaling down the other side of the hill, you wasted no time in giving chase. Calling out for Ray, you kept the communicator on contact, though it seemed he had caught onto your tactics. Each ring lasting less than the last until it stopped entirely. Come on, Ray, where are you taking me? You muttered between panting breaths, hoping to see his recognizable bright scales along the byroads or alleyways. But all you've seen so far has been more destruction and desolation than before. You could feel your heart beating faster, only imagining what Ray must be thinking as if he's been through here as well. You pushed your legs harder, your lungs burning as you called his name louder. Ray! He looked around and almost at an instant, a huge wave of relief washed over you, cooling the flames of panic inside. Yeah! Ran the rest of the way there, crashing into the dragon's hot, sweaty body. Sure scream a lot for someone so out of breath, huh? Wow, I don't even... The two of you exchanged glances, still panting from the long sprint toward whichever destination you had in mind. Dave, thanks for going after me. Of course, I couldn't just leave you there. Still, you should have let Max come with as well, I think. No, he wants to save everyone, I'm just here for my brother. Right. Let's go look for him then. Right, he should be over... No, this can't be! Dragon exclaimed in disbelief, seemingly noticed something unbecoming within the ruins below. It was the lone building still standing among the wrecks. Its entrance hasn't collapsed, yet the way was littered with debris and corpses. Seems like the monsters have broken through the barricade, judging by the bite and claw marks upon the walls as well as their victims. Is this where he lived? Yes. Damn it, I should have went for him sooner. Tristan! Tristan! The dragon yelled out his brother's name as he dashed headfirst into the ruins. Ray, wait up! You sprinted down the slope, trying your best to keep up with him. You weren't even half as agile as Ray, making traversal against the debris-littered streets all the more daunting. Though eventually you did manage to catch up as he slowed down here and there along the way to search for his brother. Ray! Dave, keep up, will ya? You can't have gotten far from here. Hold it! What? Seriously, don't you think it's risky to keep shouting like that? You might as well just alert the entire Nether army to where we are. That'll just make my job easier.
I'll burn them all down in one go if I have to. Tristan! Oh, for Maker's sake, please let Tristan be safe.
Tell him to chin up or say nothing. I just want to say, completely off topic, Lug, you say some of the most out-of-pocket shit, and I'm here for it. Whichever one doesn't give us corruption. Ooh. That is something. That didn't give us corruption. That didn't give us corruption. Neither of them gives us corruption. Ray, listen. Are you absolutely sure that he's still around the area? It's just a gut feeling that he's in danger right now. What if he's already made it out of here in time? I'm sure he's already safe back at the guild by now. What if he didn't get out here in time? He's the only family I got left, Dave! If anything's ever happened to him, I don't... Ray, let's not go there, yeah? Actually, how old is he? 19. Just joined the guild recently. Really thinks himself a hotshot. Doesn't mean he got half the experience to fend for himself in the field, though. Sounds awfully like someone I know. Listen, Dave, I don't... Decided to pull him in for a hug. You could feel his heart basically jumping out of his chest. Poor guy must have been awfully anxious at this point. Dave, what are you doing? Gotta find Tristan fast. Shh. Try to calm down, yeah? Take a deep breath. You got this. After a moment of hesitation, he decided to follow your instruction. You could feel his heartbeat slowing down with each breath you took. Guess I needed that. There, see? Was that so hard? Now, if your brother is anything like you, I'm sure he'll make it out through this whole ordeal. You think so? Well, he's a dragon too, right? Of course, we're both pure dragons. I don't see why you're fussing over this. He's probably even saving lives as we speak. Look, you don't gotta say that for my sake, Dave. I know my brother. Guy's got too much zeal for his own good. You gotta trust me on this, Ray. I'm confident that he's safe. And if I'm wrong, you don't even have to forgive me. I'll bear that burden for the rest of my life. Sheesh, those are fighting words, Dave. You're that sure about it, huh? Positively. You didn't have to say that. My brother's everything to me, yes. But I can't think of a future without you either. Ray. Fine. I'll take your word on this one. Thanks, son. Well, let's do one last sweep around the area. See if we can't find traces of someone that might know where he went. Right, but what's the plan after we found him? Sit back to the harbor and leave the city altogether. What, and cut bait? We might have to. That's not right. Look, Dave, I don't want to take any more risks. My parents took their chances with the city, and look where they are now. But where would you even go? No idea yet. Maybe Hanan, maybe Hiberia, just somewhere far away. If we do make it there, then we could start over. Maybe I'll get to open a flower shop, or at least a vegetable stand. You're welcome to join, Dave. If not, consider this our last mission together. Felt rather torn hearing that. Part of you wanted to support him in his endeavor, but isn't abandoning duty treason? Especially for a Galantir? I need to reason with him later. For now, let's see where his plan goes. You quietly held his hand. No matter what happened, you'll do your utmost to guide him back to reason. The dragon stopped at several over-ruined streets along the way, searching for any sign of life. Upon closer inspection, you noticed that some of the corpses you spotted earlier bore the Galantir insignia. Damn, they're from the guild. Tristan! Tristan! He was still calling out for his brother, albeit in a calmer manner, and much quieter this time. Things were eerily quiet the rest of the way. I wonder if everyone there had already made it out before the attack hit. Kept close to the dragon as he took the sudden turn around the next street corner. Seemed to lead you into another residential district. The area seemed oddly intact compared to the ruins you just went by. At least most of it anyway. There were still people in their homes peeking at you through their barricaded windows. The rest of the streets were either boarding up windows and entrances or wandering about the collapsed buildings close by. Excuse me, hey! Ray approached the buck on the other side of the street, seemingly rummaging through the debris in search of something. What? What are you people doing out here in the streets? What does it look like? We're looking for our belongings. The damn town hall crashed and burned half an hour ago, and I'm still trying to find my files. Files? House certificate, but it's all just rubbles. I'll come claim compensation at the guild later. Uh, 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 You looked up at the guardian crystal looming ahead of you. Yeah, I don't think that's the biggest of your concerns right now, sir. Okay, what do you suggest then? I mean, you could just evacuate. And then what? Sit at the guild begging for food? No, sir, I'll just stay here guarding whatever I got left. Surely Lady Spring's got it all under control, no? Well, I guess. The buck simply ignored you both and walked off with a shrug. Still, it's just safer to get out of here now, right, Ray? Yeah, but it's their choice to stay here. Not like we can force them to come with us. That's against protocol, Dave. Why don't they stay here, though? Isn't it dangerous? Beats me. Maybe they value their personal belongings too much. Not much we can do about that. What do you mean by that? Aren't we supposed to help them out? I don't know, Dave. Maybe you're right, but finding Tristan is still my concern right now. Ray. Fine. Let's ask around for him. Thanks for understanding, hun. Okay, this is starting to feel more and more toxic. You both approached the civilians roaming the streets, then conversed through the barricade with those indoors. They were cooperative, but these inquiries proved fruitless so far, as none of them recognized, seen, or heard of Tristan around these parts. Are you sure you haven't seen him around? He's a blue dragon, looks and dressed similar to me, but a bit shorter. No, I don't think I've seen anything blue coming by today. I saw those icky purple things crashing through the gates. Right, that's an attack wave, but Tris wasn't caught in that. I hope not either. I'm sorry, sir. Maybe he has already made it to the harbor? Hold on, why the harbor? Just a guess, sir. I heard some of us were planning to leave town, seeking asylum there. Right. That gave me a few leads. Thank you for your time. My pleasure, sir. Glad I could be of help. The alpaca closed the peep shutter on the boarded-up door as she went back inside. Wait, huh? What was that all about just now? Ray? Right, just gotta... Ray, wait. Ran over and hugged his behind, keeping him from straying too far on his own. Dave, what's with you today? Well, something tells me you might be needing this right now. Should I stop? The dragon suddenly flipped you around into an even tighter embrace, squeezing the air out of you. Never said you had to. Hey, a bit too tight there, hon. Hey, your fault. You started first. He relented, but not before giving you a quick kiss. You're right. Maybe I needed this after all. Thanks, love. You're welcome. Still, do you want to talk about it? About what? What's on your mind right now, for starters? I know you're thinking about Tristan, but what makes you this worried? Do you know about Max's brother, Dave? I might have heard about that. He had a younger brother or something? Yeah, poor guy went into the King's Domain with one of our recon detachment. Been there a few years now and we haven't heard from him again. Max just hasn't been the same since. And your word Tristan might have the same fate? No other reason, of course. Tris is even more reckless than that guy who wouldn't last a day out there. When we signed up for the guild initiation, I deliberated day and night whether to stop or support him. But knowing him, even if I forbid him from entering, he just find a way through sheer stubbornness. Yeah, I can see where he gets that from. Ouch! Sure knows to hit him where it hurts, huh? Well, in the end, I decided to let him do what he wanted. Gotta wonder if I did the right thing there. He got himself into trouble because of me. Wouldn't know what to do with myself. Hey, let's not go there yet, alright? I joked about your stubbornness, but if he's anything like you, that persistence will also keep him alive more than we realize. I don't think that's how that works, Dave. Then what do you suppose you would have done? Knowing him, he'd probably be trying to save as many folks he could, then lead them to safety. Right. Then I was right. He's just like you in that manner. What manner? Confident, daring, charismatic enough to sway others with your ideas. Well, I can't tell if you meant that or just trying to blow smoke up my ass. I just wish he'd take after my good traits and ditch the rest. One can only hope. But still, I guess you do have a point. If he looks up to me this much, I really should lead by example. What's on your mind? Try to persuade these people to leave. So, what's stopping you before? Nothing, I guess. I just didn't feel like it. My brother's in danger. The whole world can go to hell until I'm absolutely sure he's safe. I know. There's no way to go about it. He wouldn't have wanted me to sink that low either. Well, at least you changed your mind on that. Yeah. I just hope he's actually at the harbor. What if he's at the guild? Why not go there instead? I mean, sure, that's also possible, but for now, I'm willing to take my chances. Works out, then it'll be 2 birds with 1 stone. We get these people safe, then sail out of the city with Tris. I hope it doesn't come to that. But I'm with you all the way. Let's go. Thanks, son. Yeah, this is starting to feel more and more toxic. Is anyone else getting that vibe? Getting those vibes that this is slowly becoming more and more toxic? And so you both went to ask the residents to come with you to the harbor. Many of them were either reluctant or just outright refused, though eventually you managed to gather quite a crowd, all packed up and ready to go. The main streets leading out of the residential district somehow looked even worse than when you last arrived. I don't know, it just kind of feels that way. Despite the guild's best efforts, the Nether army still plowed through the city defenses, leaving the crossroads rampant with the infected. After several risky maneuvers, your group made it safely across the western crossroads. The Nether horde seemed to be thinning out the closer you got to the harbor, as though they had a more important target elsewhere in the city. As the sound of carnage and bloodshed faded into mere echoes, the harbor itself was eerily quiet. Most of the buildings and establishments seemingly abandoned shortly after the attack hit the city.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
It's so quiet here. Where did everybody go? Something tells me they might have retreated out to the coast. Let's go! Had your doubts, but things turned out just as Ray suspected. Ahead of the piers were several barricaded checkpoints shielding the path towards what looked like the entire naval fleet in the back. Whoa, that's a lot of ships in one place. Most of the ships were docked sideways, forming a blockade with their armaments pointed directly ashore. There's a few other ships sailing outward along the coastline. Yeah, it looks like the Great Fleet is there. Gotta wonder why they haven't moved into...
Halt!
A booming voice projected from the checkpoint stopped you all in your tracks.
Identify yourselves or we will fire upon you.
Wait! We're friendlies! Friendlies! The dragon rushed ahead, holding both arms up in a pacifying manner. Soldiers at the checkpoint seemed to relent as they recognized the guild insignia on him. As Ray gestured forward, you hurried the refugees along. Soon enough, y'all made it to the checkpoint's barricades as a heavyweight aquatic. Possibly one of the naval officers approached you.
Identify yourself, soldier.
Raymond Azariel Ignis of the Gallanteer 4th Division, sir!
4th Division? You people lost or something?
The inland headquarters, half the coastal line away. Please hear me out, sir. The district had already overrun the northwestern residential district. It was either here or back to the guild, which is at least several leagues away and would be suicide.
I see. And these are civilians you've brought among yourselves?
Yep, from what's left of the residential districts we came from. Officer heaved a sigh as the dragon gestured toward the ragtag group behind you.
Can any of you people fight? We still require more men to reinforce our flanks.
Aside from the elderly and youngling, most of us definitely can, sir, but our weapons were lost in the attacks.
We can arm you so long as you men are willing to fight.
Understood, sir. Just point us where you need us.
And sign let them through. Arm any abled men and have them fall in before the next barrage commences. Yes, sir!
Ray led the way as the sailors left an opening through the barricade. The familiar clamor of wartime resurfaced as you arrived at what felt like an entire garrison of its own. The sheer manpower stationed here could very well rival with those back at the guild, if not more. Ray signaled at you to stop just shy of the checkpoint, while the sailors led most of the refugees away to one of the docked ships, save for the men ready to fight. There, these folks should be safe for now.
Nice.
I still don't get it. With this much manpower, why haven't they moved into the city to help us? This army could easily turn the tide. Asking the million platinum question there, Dave, was running the same thing, to be honest. I guess they're rather guarding this post to make sure it doesn't fall like the rest of the city. Or maybe there's something more going on that we don't know yet. Right, but enough about that. Let me ask around. If Tris is here, we could board a ship and set sail out of here. Don't get ahead of yourself, Ray. And there he goes. Oh, well, let's see where this goes. Excuse me! The dragon went to one of the sailors near the aforementioned docked ship. Have you seen my brother Tristan? He's a blue dragon, looks and dresses like me, but a bit shorter. Not so. Lots of blue folks around here, but I don't think I've seen anyone like him around, sorry. Right, one more thing. Board the ship now. Can you take us away from the city?
Away from the city? Yes, preferably somewhere safe, uninvolved in this war. I don't think you understand what's going on right now. Due to the skirmishes, no ships are allowed to leave or enter the harbor at any given time.
Really? Then why are there still ships leaving the docks as we speak?
Just a recon detachment. We're attempting to probe for suitable angles to support the mainland forces with bombardment.
I see. Still, please consider it. Maybe we can strike some sort of deal for this. I'm a gardener. I can give you a bunch of exotic fruits on top of paying you handsomely for the...
I said we can't do that!
Look,
I can see your frustration, but I've got family that wanted out of this too. But the moment we abandon this post, things will go south very fast.
No, I understand. Thank you for your time.
Good luck. May your brother be safe.
The avian sailor gave Ray a courtesy nod as he returned to his ship. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Ray, you okay? Yeah, come on, maybe some other ships would agree to take us in. And so Ray continued to try his luck with the few other ships happened to remain at the pier at the moment, only met with the same refusal. You feel the frustration as well as desperation oozing out of him. You were rather frazzled yourself, seeing the dragon struggle so much against the sailor's firm yet dismissive demeanor. Ultimately, both your efforts didn't amount to much as you met up again near the first ship. Felt bad looking at the dragon. He was clearly stressed out of his mind, only staring vacantly out to the sea at this point. Ray?
What? Did you find him, Dave?
What? No, I don't think he's around here, Ray.
Damn it, where can you be, Tris? Dave?
Yes?
Really blinking out here. I don't know what to do. I probably should do something, but I can think of is Tris. I need to figure out where he is and make sure he's safe.
Hey, it's okay. Sometimes things just take a bit of time to sort out. Don't fret so much.
How can I not? He's my brother, Dave. What if he ended up like Max, is all torn up without anyone to help? What if he ends up corrupted? What the hell would I do then? Do I help or do I just end up suffering?
Ray!
Huh? Sorry, I had to snap you out of it there. Listen, it's okay. I know you're scared because you haven't found him yet. I mean, I'm worried sick too. But I don't think we should dwell on that so much. We should never lose hope that he's still safe and sound. But... You leaned in to give him a kiss, feeling his tensed muscles relax as he returned the gesture. Stay strong. We can still find him together.
You're right. Thanks, son. I needed that.
I'm always here for you.
Thank you.
Well, we should probably head back to the guild and look for Tris there.
Yeah, might as well head back there. Pretty much got nothing to lose at this point.
Pardon me. Huh? An orca sailor gestured to you as he approached. Aren't you planning to head back into the city?
Yes, why do you ask?
Well, you'd be in luck. The counter push is happening soon. We're making an attempt to clear a path towards Veteran Park. Then from there on, I believe you can find your way back to the headquarters. Right. Why didn't you guys launch that counter push sooner? We could have used the help when the attack happened hours ago. Sadly, things weren't that cut and dry, lad. Our communications grid went down the moment we heard explosions from the Guardian Crystal. The fleet quickly reassembled here, but we were in the bind the whole time. Could not reach Master Alaric, and any runners we sent into the city never made it back. Only hope right now is to move out to secure Veteran Park, then link up with the headquarters forces. Well, sounds to me like our ticket back to the guild.
I agree. Might as well help them out on our way back.
Bravo! Your diligence is commendable, soldiers. Speak of the devil. Sfunk, several groups of sailors and fighters marched towards the checkpoint. Recognize some of them among the refugees you just led here. Seemed they had volunteered to be part of the counter-strike. I suppose is it. I wish you luck out there, lads. I don't know how to pronounce that. With that, the orca returned to his ship, prompting you all to join their ranks.
Uh-huh?
You were left discombobulated, still having trouble processing the entire turn of events, while Ray, on the other hand, seemed to have warmed up to this change of plan despite his initial apprehension. Ray?
Huh?
We'll find him, don't worry.
You've been telling me that a lot. I almost sound like a broken record there.
Well, I just wanted to reassure you.
Thanks. Anyway, come on, let's ready up. They should be moving out soon.
Alright, let's go! The newly assembled brigade marched out of the harbor in an orderly fashion, quickly occupying the northern crossroads as you followed closely. As per the captain's briefing, the brigade was split into two groups, one heading straight for the Veteran Park's outer ring while the other clear the path along the market district, then link up at the park's inner ring. You tagged along the latter group, and as much as you'd feared, things didn't go according to plan. For your group ran into significant enemy presence in the market district, prompting you to break away somewhere along the eastern crossroads. From there on, you thankfully did not run into much opposition, though Ray still insisted on carrying you in his arms as he raced back towards the guild at breakneck speed. Jeez, we made it back. We're so back!
Oh, no, you're right, Dave. No need to shout.
You winced, immediately stretching your legs as the dragon placed you down. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't help myself just now. Also, that got me pretty sore all over, but I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, at least we made it back in one piece. Either way, thank you for boarding the Red Dragon Express. Hope you ride with us again in the future.
I mean, sure, I'd love to, but I probably want to keep my spine even more.
Nah, don't be like that. I'll be more gentle next time.
Oh, come on now.
You fell right into that one.
Ray!
Tristan!
Barely caught a blue blur rushing past you as Ray caught the other dragon in his arms. Now that must be him. Should I give him the gay voice? Should I give Tristan the exact voice that I'm thinking of? Brother, it's you! I was wondering where you went. I'm so glad you're safe.
Yeah, you're one to talk. There I was, worried sick that something might have happened to you. Where you been, man? How did you make it back to the guild all by yourself?
Well, actually, I wasn't by myself. When the attack hit the guild, people at the neighborhood told us to gather around and wait for them to come back. But I convinced them to just wait around while I gathered as many as I could, then they led us back to the guild. Along the way, we did have to fight, but thankfully everyone was safe. You probably won't believe, my heart was racing all the time. I was so afraid some of us wouldn't make it. Hey, even I felt nervous just listening to you talking about it. It must have been really scary.
Yeah, I believe it. It's incredibly nerve-wracking to be in that situation. And yeah, you're not the only one who made the right call, but also to save more folks in the process, you're a natural, Tris. You totally aced the Trail of Valor. There ain't no way you'd fail at this point.
Hey, you don't have to butter me up like that. I still got a lot to learn still.
Humble. That's good. Keep your head down and never stop learning. That's how you get far in life.
The younger dragon only chuckled. He was practically showered with lots of love and head pats. Aw.
Alright. That's right. Tris, I want you to meet Dave.
Hi, Tris. Oh, it's you! You was the VIP told me about! Well, VIP might be a bit much. I won't lie, you do like you aren't from this world. Oh, is it that obvious?
Tris, you aren't supposed to say that out loud. It's classified intel.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright. No, I'm done yet. Still, the VIP part is true. Dave's very important. To me.
Wow. Glanced over at the younger dragon, who was already snickering as he looked away. He looks like this all the time, isn't he? Yup. All the time with all the people he met.
Hey, don't rat me out like that, Tris.
Well, you started it, not me.
Drat! Use my own tactics against me.
You are my role model for a reason.
Come here, you!
Couldn't help but chuckle as the dragon brothers hugged it out. Much like his younger brother, Ray seemed so blissful. That plan about leaving the city must have been behind him already. I'm gonna check our level. Fucking useless.
Well, now that that's out of the way...
We're gonna stop it for the ad when we break from the ads. Do a little dance. And we're back. That wasn't me.
That was definitely me then. Think we're in the middle of breakfast when the whole commotion happened, right, Dave?
I think so, yeah. Now that you mention it, I'm starting to feel peckish, too. Well, you guys had head to the tavern. They're turning out a 5-star buffet for Rathens. We're eating really good.
Really? Wouldn't that put them out of business? What is that bear thinking?
Well, I had to know. The food does feel like it would have been expensive to buy normally, but everyone seems more relaxed because of this. Huh, well, they do say an army marches on its stomach. Something like that, yeah. But speaking of which, I need to go report my findings to the guild.
Hey, you've completed your first assignment after all.
I guess you could say that. I haven't got my badge yet, but they start treating me like I'm one of them already. Anyways, I'll go now. Love you! Tristan bumped head with his older brother before running off into the guild. So, what now?
Guess we might as well rest our feet for a bit.
Don't mind if I do. As your knees buckled, you felt your whole weight bearing down on you as you landed butt first onto the grass. Between keeping up with Ray and digging through all that rubble, the fatigue was finally catching up to you. The dragon also joined your side shortly.
They sure grow up fast, huh? Still feels like yesterday when he spoke his first words.
Time flies, as they say.
Sure does.
Still much to be done. Yeah?
Oh, sorry, just thinking out loud. Just a huge relief to see Tris safe and sound, Dave.
Yeah, no, likewise. I'm glad the best case scenario happened. He made it back safe and he also saved our lives.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have to deal with this. War was something our parents had to go through. And we have to be strong for our loved ones, but it just isn't fair that kids like him have to face this kind of threat. He was safe this time, I know, but what about next time we needed to move out? You and I know that once out there, no one might not make it back.
Sorry, Ray. I don't think I have an answer for that. I just know that we gotta try and give it our all.
Yeah. Yeah, that might just be good enough. Come on, let's go find our guildmaster. I probably got some explaining to do. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's go. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Walking back up the pathway towards Alaric stage, you notice someone else was already there. Next to the guildmaster was that familiar Malamute and his tiger companion. All three of them seemed disgruntled than ever.
Are you saying that all the residential and warehouse districts have been overrun entirely? Yes, I'm afraid so, Master Alaric. I believe the market district and production facilities are still being heavily contested as we speak. Then what of the neighborhood you've scoured? We've gathered as many survivors as we can, but other than that, we've had no choice but to retreat here. Yet we're rapidly losing ground here. We cannot afford to shit on our archers any longer.
But Max is right, Dave. We're just bleeding men if we keep sending out these smaller groups.
Yes, unless we coordinated a proper counterattack, taking back those districts is near impossible.
I see. We're to minimize losses by retaking our strong points early, but in doing so, perhaps you've sent even more men to their deaths.
Very well. This needs to change now. Tobias, gather what men you could from the remaining infantry divisions, then have them follow Maxwell's team when they embark.
Roger that. I won't let you down.
The tiger noticed both of you on his way out, only giving Ray a courtesy nod as you approached the podium.
Raymond!
Sir, and, Max?
Hey, glad to see you and Dave made it back.
Indeed, it is most fortunate that you both are still with us.
However, I cannot overlook your insubordination, Raymond. Running away on your own like that was so foolhardy.
I understand, sir. I apologize. I just really had urgent matters that required my immediate attention.
Is that so?
Yes, I promise it won't happen again, sure.
Very well. See to it that it won't. With that aside, have you anything to report?
I'm afraid it's been nothing good. The streets are crawling with them uglies. All the way from here to the northern outskirts of the harbor.
The harbor, you say? We've been expecting reinforcement from them for hours. What in Maker's breath is even happening over there?
Well, we ran into what looks like the entire Great Fleet there.
I see. So the bulk of our naval fleet and the merchants are making a stand there?
Yeah, but from what I gathered, they weren't able to attack to any of our mainland forces since the GC broke down. They sent runners trying to reach the guild, but you probably can tell none of them ever made it here.
And there I thought our Sheborn allies had abandoned us.
Far from it, sir. They provided sanctuary for the survivors we gathered on our way there. It was thanks to the counterattack they sent that we were able to make it back here. I think that says enough about their loyalty to the city.
More than enough indeed. This is all crucial intel you've provided, Raymond. Excellent work. Now as for the matter at hand, we shall soon mobilize our own counterattack to gain back ground. You men best sort yourself out before the next hour. Yes, sir. I'll brief my team on the attack plan. I also have a few questions for him.
Very well. I shall leave you to address your teammate. Ordine Prosperita. Ordine Prosperita. With little more than a nod, the guildmaster went back to barking orders at his subordinates, not with the fervor that he lacked before.
Thanks, Max. So what is it that you wanted to ask me?
There's just one thing I need to know. Did you find him?
Yes, well, he was already back at the guild, so you were right all along. I probably should have listened to you there. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Your brother is safe. You've led more people to safety and also bring back critical intel for Alaric. That's more than good enough for me. Good job, Rye. Just promise me you'll do the same for me when Dragon interrupted him, doing a chopping motion across his neck, urging him to cut the subject short while motioning towards the guild building. Fine, let's go. Followed them both into the guild proper, still unsure what that last bit of the exchange was about. Things, instead, were still as hectic as when you first left for the inner city, though people still took whatever moment they could spare to get some food, check on to each other, and just rest in whichever corner one could squeeze into. The other two were still nowhere to be seen, and Ray quickly rushed into the crowd, probably finding his brother. Max, on the other hand, decided to send you back to your dorm room to wash up. Thinking back to the whole event, you still found it crazy that you somehow made it out alive. Even more unsettling was how that alone wouldn't be the last trial you'd face. With a sigh, you decided to cast the thoughts aside, quickly finishing your cleanup routine before returning to the lobby. Stepping out from the main hall, you could already feel a shift in the ambience. Many of the guild personnel and refugees sat around eating from trays or helping organize the townsfolk into units. Feeling quite hungry yourself, you decided to head over to the tavern as you overheard murmurs about the food being very good this time around. Cody was nowhere to be seen, but his canine assistant was still there, handing the food to both the townsfolk and guildmates. You decided to grab a tray, helping yourself to the meals passed over to your side. Rumors turned out to be true, as you were pleasantly surprised by the exceptional food quality that Cody's establishment was known for. From pizza, lasagna, to gourmet stews, you made sure to eat your fill before taking your leave, for you might not know if this would be your last time eating this good.
Across the hall, near the shade of the platform Alaric gave orders from, you saw Max, Alex, and Ray already there and waiting. Hey.
Dave.
Hey. Welcome back.
Looks like everyone's here.
So, what's happened on everyone's end? Max quickly briefed you on the situation, as they've relayed to him and Ray while you were gone. From where you broke off to pursue Ray, Max carried on to the Northeast District and ran into another group of survivors. It was thanks to Toby's sudden appearance that he was able to save them all. They then headed to the Agus estate, where Sebastian was manning the defense systems and providing refuge for the people. After some time, help arrived with armored transports from the mines, with which they were able to bring everyone back to the guild with minimal losses. Alex, along with a fellow researcher, have managed to salvage whatever they could from the flooded labs, as well as rescuing Festin from it. Festin finally got his cheddar for dinner? We may rejoice and celebrate. Festin got his cheddar for dinner. As for Cody, he had rejoined the kitchen with his new assistant, Tensai, and they managed to provide ample food supplies for everyone in the guild and then some. Although his other assistant, Ashford, was still missing. So that's where we stand now.
The guildmaster must have already devised a plan at this point, I surmise.
Yes, we've received instructions from Master Alaric to mobilize a counteroffensive. What is our endpoint? Isn't it obvious? Vitrum Park! Must advance and rescue Lady Spring. We're to strike either the east or west entrances. Both are the ones they've made progress clearing along the main roads. Thanks to Rise Intel, we now know that there are also friendly strike teams moving in from the harbor. Must act quickly to link up with them and regain lost grounds. Is everyone ready? Ready! Let's go. Move out!
Celebration. With a sigh, you took a moment to steel yourself before moving forward. You hesitated a moment, feeling unsafe breaking off from Ray as you crossed the final stretch into Vitrum Park. There was an eerie calmness when you crossed the threshold to the Outer Ring. There was not a single person or nether beast in sight, and none that you could hear either. The once pristine and manicured park was left in shambles, grass scratched up by hooves and shrubs trampled or otherwise uprooted. You drew your sword, warily scanning your surroundings, following along the pavement further in. In silence, you could hear the familiar jum of the Jum. I fucked up a word. I combined gentle and hum into jum. In the silence, you could hear the familiar gentle hum of the guardian crystal, somehow warped into a dissonant vibration. Made you feel some kind of sick to your core, as if your stomach could churn inside out. Looking up, the once protective crystal began to feel overbearing, as though about to crush you the moment you approached the inner sanctum. Elisa! Elisa! Everyone's safe! We need to get out of here! You hollered as loud as your burning lungs allowed, hoping to get the rabbit sage to come out sooner. Elisa, we need to get out of here! Ray and the others will cover our escape! Still no response, not from Elisa, not from any guards. Only the violent and anguished shriek of the guardian crystal. Elise! Ugh! A series of sharp jabs ran up your legs, pinning your muscles in place like a mannequin. Your momentum threw you into a forward roll, hitting the ground hard enough to lose the grip on your sword. Fuck! What the hell? My legs! Reaching down for your legs, your hands instantly recoil at the sharp, jagged spikes protruding from your knees and calves. Brief glance told you they were clouded shards of opaque purple, reminiscent of obsidian deliberately thrust through your legs. Elisa! You cried out, not kicking yourself for needing to be saved by the one you came to save yourself. Though you did hear the voice of someone familiar coming towards you from the sanctum. Dave, is that you? Are you alright? Huh? Who's there? Over here, Sir Dave. Good heavens, what happened here? What did they do to you? Ashford? What are you doing here? It's not safe. Yes, I'm aware. I, too, was caught in this sudden strife. I had managed to find sanctuary within the sanctum, along with the guards and Lady Spring herself. You managed to get here when the invasion happened? How is Lady Spring? Is she safe? I should say so. She has managed to fend off those beasts while maintaining the crystal afloat. I dare say I won't be forgetting what she's capable of. But enough about that, Dave. We must get you inside before these creatures find us out in the open. The snow leopard leaned down, extending his hand out for you to take. Where are the guards, Ashford? It'd be easier if they were here to help us. They are still recovering from the initial assault, Dave. Let us not raise any undue alarm. Surely we could escort ourselves to safety, yes? Or do you not believe me capable of carrying you myself? He chuckled mirthfully as he once again offers his hand to you. Pushing back on your elbows, you decide to draw away from the snow leopard. Hold up! Alaric told us that Elisa sent the guards away to get the townspeople to safety. Why didn't you go with them? I insisted on staying here to assist Lady Spring in defending the inner sanctum. I'm sure you understand my concerns for her ladyship. She is the final beacon of hope for her people. Your fear for her well-being must be clouding your judgment. Please, allow me to escort you to her. Ashford took 2 steps closer, once again thrusting his hand towards you, just a little more forcefully this time around. You continued scooting back from Ashford bit by bit as he continued to follow you step by step. Nobody knew where you were, Ash. You were MIA as far as anyone could tell. I suppose the guards simply omitted mentioning my staying here. I am an unremarkable individual, after all. Merely a background character in your story. Finally reached what you had been inching for. The hilt of your sword clattered as your fingers bumped into it. Grasping it firmly, you brought it forward, holding it towards Ashford's chest to keep him at an arm's length. You're the spy, aren't you, Ash? Did you come to that conclusion all by yourself, hero? Or perchance did those friends of yours tell you that? His tone grew both cynical and ecstatic as he leaned down to meet you at eye level. I was so looking forward to doing away with you and your pathetic Carter. Especially that oafish bear, the things I had to put up with under his supervision. Ugh, what a waste of my talents. Ashford clenched his fists. You could hear him grit his teeth with a painfully forced smile. But this will do nicely. Saves me the time of picking your friends off one by one. You've even done me the favor of stumbling into my netherite traps. You! Ashford held a hand to his head, shaking it with the derisive smile upon his face. You are far too kind, hero. Though I must say, you've left me rather disappointed. His Majesty had a great many expectations of you, and yet you're nothing more than another tribute. A dying breed. Heroes. Ugh. What a pity. He looked you up and down, eyes lingering upon the sword in your hand. With that said, I must admit I am intrigued. When you crossed that threshold into the establishment, I had not expected you to be the hero of prophecy. Imagine my surprise to learn His Majesty had lost sleep over something so pitiful as you. Still, I did not expect you to survive this long, let alone be a thorn in my side as much as you have been. All the more reason I'll have to stop you here, I'm afraid. You held your sword closely, drawing from your borrowed powers in your offhand. Who exactly are you, really? Since you asked so politely. Before your eyes, Ashford's appearance shifted, his uniform melting away into an officer's regalia. I am General Ashford de Helmgarten, Galantine by birthright, and King Leonhard's most trusted advisor. I didn't need to know that much. Well, you did ask. His demeanor softened into an amicable smile once more. Why are you even doing this? Can't you see all the harm you've been causing? What you call harm is nothing more than necessity, dear Dave. We do this for the well-being of the well-being of all of Arborea. Yeah, right. That's the biggest lie of the century right there. Is that so? You don't believe yourself to be the only one on the side of righteousness, do you? How self-serving to think that yours is the only correct way of living. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Do not mistake me for yourself, hero. You only exist to uphold the current standard. I am a revolutionary who has challenged his force of an existence. And the results speak for themselves. Your pathetic empire has crumbled under the king's reach. His Majesty's superior rule is what will sustain the future of this land. Your Majesty's rule has led to nothing but deaths and losses among the people. Look at all the amount of agony and despair you've sown throughout the country. And is that not their deserved punishment? What, you think they deserve this? These Pelarian parasites are what caused this uprising. They have only themselves to blame. For nearly a century, we endured ridicule and strife. In their eyes, Gallant was but a land of slaves and tools to be taken advantage of. His Majesty's rise to power changed that. His upheaval of the Baumgarten House saved us from the brink of extinction and gave us a chance to live again! For that feat alone, he is a true hero of Arborea. Do you get it now, hero? That is why this war is a necessity to save our future generations from falling back into decay and decadence. To put an end to an era of shackles and break the cycle of segregation. And you think you're going to accomplish this by razing every city you came across to the ground? You've ruined so many lives for the sake of your own entitlement. You have taken more than what you were owed and still think yourselves to be the victims? Do not lecture me on matters of morality, boy. You have not endured true hardship and famine for the better half of your life. What good is morality and craven crystal sucklers who think themselves better than the weak? We at least stand on equal footing, and yet you dare call us corrupt? Who wouldn't? Do you even hear yourself talk? You sound like a crazy politician. All these lies and half-truths about how rough you've had it. You think these people were living in the lap of luxury for the past 20 years? What do you know about these disgraceful traitors? You've barely been here for a month. Maybe I don't, but I have seen and heard stories about the misery these people have to endure. You and your king destroyed their homes, forcing them to migrate here. And even with the Guardian Crystal, their livelihoods are still at stake. These people just want to live peacefully, and you still see them as a threat. What's wrong with you? Your misplaced sympathy is still simply baffling. Their misery was of their own making. How ignorant of you to assume we'd never offered them a helping hand. We are more than willing to look past their transgressions and install things anew. They need to only submit to His Majesty's rightful rule, and then they would have known utopia, but alas, they never yielded. Pray tell then, how are we to blame when they have forsook that choice? Yeah, a choice that you and your bloodthirsty marauders forced upon innocent folks, huh? Your king is just a sad and despicable tyrant. Enough! The snow leopard feinted you with a kick, which you very narrowly deflected. I have entertained your ignorant bleating for far too long, sheep. Whatever leniency I have offered you has been in error. You will submit to His Excellency's will. Ugh, not the kind of diplomacy I prefer. But it seems like that's the only persuasion you'll listen to. I won't let you get away for the crimes you committed here this day, Ashford. Ordine a prosperita. You brandished your sword again, pointing the blade towards the snow leopard, who seemed indignant as ever. If you plan to protect this dying city to your last breath, so be it. Words. He draws forth 5 ice daggers between his fingers as a delighted smile spreads over his face. See, I love this music. You just don't get it, do you?
Bitch!
How pathetic, how embarrassing. Oh, hiya, Axel. Thank you for the raid. Welcome. Yeah, I already know which one's the real one. It's not that hard. Bitch! Oh, shit. He's got a good cape. Damn. I just want to say I like his design. So, we fucking killed Ashford. So, he's fucking dead. How can you be this strong already? This is not how this was supposed to happen. Give it up, Ash. The others will be here any minute. Fool, I will not be caught like some common rodent. No, I will do what I've set out to do. Hey, get back here. I'm not done with you. You chased behind him through the fog as it begins to clear, his focus disrupted. His figure was barely visible, even in the all-black attire. The thickness of the fog managed to obscure his outline. Much to your fear, he disappeared for a moment before you managed to catch sight of him again. Your footsteps echoed throughout the sanctum as the fog clears enough for you to see into the ceiling. Somewhere within the fog, you'd hear Elisa's voice, humming in the same tune as the guardian crystal did before. You pushed it out of your mind as you returned your focus to catching up with Ashford. At last, there he was, cornered, with his back to the window shining through the fog. The snow leopard turned around calmly to face you. Though he attempted to maintain his composure, his chest was obviously heaving from the pursuit. Stubborn as a Borix, aren't you? You heroes never know when to give up. I'd watch what I'm saying in your position. Turn yourself over to the Gallanteers or get cut down where you stand. Ha, you're just bluffing. If you couldn't kill me when you had the chance, I seldom believe you'd do it now. You kept your sword poised towards the snow leopard, the narrow room leaving little space to escape without getting struck in the attempt. Riddle me this. What can you accomplish by not killing me now? Fame, glory, accolades, titles, isn't that what all you heroes desire? Honestly, none of that crossed my mind. I don't want to kill you if I could help it, Ash. He had been truthful about his position as the king's advisor. He was worth more to you alive than dead. You're more use to us alive. Well now, look who's stealing my lines. I have an actual use for you. You lot will not get a single shred of information out of me. I'd be better off dead. You felt a frigid gust blow by your cheek as a fresh wound was opened by Ashford's ice daggers. You're fine! You leave no choice! You broke into a sprint towards Ashford, arm held back to slash the traitor across the center of his mass. The snow leopard only braced himself, taunting you with deranged glee. It's the end of the line, Ashford! Sword never tasted flesh as you slammed your shoulder into Ashford. Having fainted with the false strike, you dropped your blade to put the full force of your body on him. You trout-brained fool! How could you do this to me? Goodness, Dave? Your bodies make contact as you both fell hard onto the floor. A clattering is heard along with soft flopping onto the concrete. Lisa's voice shook you immediately as you drew yourself off her in embarrassment. Elisa? What are you doing here? That should be my question to you, dear. What on Arborea are you doing in the sanctum? In the city at all, for that matter. No, none of that matters right now. Are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? And Ashford, did he try to hurt you? Easy there, Dave. It's all right. She sat up, reaching out to pull you into an embrace. That moment you heard footsteps running out of the room. I'm fine, Dave. I'm just glad to see you safe. And this Ashford. Is that the Chef Cody's assistant? Why would he be here? Wait, you didn't hear everything that just happened right now? I'm afraid not. Keeping the crystal aloft is a taxing ordeal on its own. The crystal! As Rabbit Sage gasped, a large metallic twang rang out above the sanctum as the guardian crystal's chaotic vibrations began to go haywire. The ground began to rumble as the crystal approaches the ground fully unbidden. Dave, stay close! Lisa held you tight to your chest as she vocalized an incantation. You didn't get to take in her silvery voice as chunks of the crystal crashed in against the sanctum's roof. You screamed out of instinct as you felt the weight of the world crumbling down on you. Oh yeah, we're fucking dead. So, we're dead. How do we feel about that? Oh, the end screen's so cute now. So cute. I'm gonna fuck off for a bit. Never mind, I can't fuck off. Well, yeah, Dave can walk it off. He'll be fine. He'll be totally fine. He's only died, like, what, like, a couple times before. He'll be fine. Stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.